And we are back at Speaking with Gravity. I'm Curvin.
I'm D.
And I'm Ty.
And we are a mental health podcast that talk about how everything affects everything, especially your mental health. And today is going to be our 1 year anniversary as a crew. Before we kind of get into everything, how y'all feel about that? Like we've done this 2 seasons. Yeah, 2 seasons and a whole year. Just out of nowhere, kind of, I hit y'all with the, hey, can you help me out with this podcast? And both of y'all signed on. I was like, yeah, we'll do it. I don't even know if y'all knew what y'all was getting yourself into. Did y'all know what y'all was getting yourself into? How y'all feel about it? You know, just anything. Give me anything right now.
Well, I'll start. How do I feel? I feel pretty good, and I'm grateful that you reached out and encouraged me to join this platform. I'm a behind-the-scenes type of person, those who know me. So, yeah, it got me out of my comfort zone, so I'm feeling really good about it. And to be back, a lot of growth people may have heard over, our previous episodes. I hope so. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to this season.
What about you, D?
Man. For real, I'm just honored to have the opportunity to speak about something so near and dear to my heart, with 2 people that I truly admire as a professional and as individuals. I am in agreement with Ty, a lot of growth, and I'm looking forward to the continuous growth for us as individuals and collaboratively. So I'm looking forward to season 3. A lot of dope information coming.
Season 4.
Season 4.
Because, see, you came on season
2. Okay, I got you now.
So
season 4.
Yeah. But, you put the little serious spin onto it, but I really do enjoy it, doing it with, I was about to say you guys, you young ladies. I enjoy doing it, and I think I enjoy it because I feel like y'all push me. Like, I want to be great for y'all. I'm a little bit older than y'all. Just a little bit. Just a few years. And I want to be great for y'all. And I'm inspired by some of the things that y'all say, some of the things that y'all do. Even when we're talking just individually, you might say something that kind of pricked my conscience or have me thinking about it a different way than I originally thought of it, which is what I'm hopeful that we can capture from time to time in various episodes. But speaking of various episodes or past episodes that we've had, the first one that we did together was called Living While Black. We did it on February, or we released it on February the 24th of last year, which, we're releasing this season on that particular day, just in commemoration of it. But Living While Black, we said a lot on that one. When I went back, I was impressed by what we talked about. I was so critical of it in the beginning, thinking, man, we didn't cover this, we didn't cover that, but we covered a lot. We talked about a lot. But just to kind of go back to it, we've grown. We have a format that we go to, but we're going to kind of dive into that, a continuation of that, so to speak, but it's not the same topic. But our Twitter discussion, this is what we do to just kind of to begin things for the most part. I saw this tweet, and it hit me a different way. On February the 26th, 2012, which is 10 years ago. 10 years ago when February 26th come out, right? Trayvon Martin was murdered. Do you think we've gotten better with race relations or worse over these last years? And this person tweeted this just like, I'm reading it off. And then they added no judgment zone for your answers. Well, in a tweet, you can't put but so much in your answer, right? But I thought it was a really good way for us to kind of start. Have we gotten better with race relations or worse than in the last couple of years? And my heart is beating pretty fast here. And it's because it's almost as if I'm feeling this again. When that happened, the first thing that came to my mind was, I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And my boys came to my mind when I heard about Trayvon. I don't remember what his age was, but he wasn't like super, he wasn't like 18. I think he was 14, 15, 16. My son is 14 now, about to be 15. Have we gotten better? No. You know, my son can still go down the wrong road, and we've seen it since 2012. Can go down the wrong road and encounter the wrong person, and it end tragically unless he goes and do some super humble down type ordeal. Do I even want him to be super humble? Yeah, I do. I want him to get home. Let me go handle that, after the fact. But it shouldn't even come to that. It shouldn't even be where we're still there. Where I got to tell him, watch where you at, watch what you say, watch how you move, watch your surroundings at all times. And I'm constantly putting that into his head. I don't know what it's like to live otherwise. I was thinking about that also, like to think like that, to have that constant awareness. You're in survival mode. So we're living in survival mode, still in 2022. Obviously there are some, what they say, covert, overt. There's different types of racism. There's different types of discrimination, aggressions, and so on and so forth. And to some degree, some things, we have more access to things. We have the ability to move in a society overall better than those that came before us. But for us to still have to be careful. And what neighborhood we go to, it hasn't gotten better. Sorry for giving all of that, but that kind of hit me. I didn't know it was going to hit me when I wrote it down. I was like, all right, we're going to start it off with this one. But that's rough, man, because I have 2 boys. And, I want to protect them. I want to be there for them. But more importantly, I want to protect them. I want nobody to get to them in a way that I wouldn't even get to them. So that's it. My bad.
No need to apologize. Again, no judgment zone for your answers.
He was 17. He was 17 at the time.
Yeah, because he would have celebrated his 27th birthday a few days ago. And his mom just released a book, by the way, too. I don't know the name of it, but she just released a book.
Yeah, he was born on February the 6th and passed away on the 26th, 20 days after his birthday, 10 years ago.
But to answer or just to, discuss the Twitter discussion, I don't think it's gotten any better. I mean, look what's currently going on now. And if you don't know what that means, I would encourage you just to watch the news. Yeah.
When you say if you don't know what that means, that reminds me of, is it Jan or Jane Elliott? She has a couple of YouTube videos. She one of the YouTube, and they made it into like a clip. And she asked the audience, I'm paraphrasing.
Would they be willing to trade places
with the black person?
Right.
If you stand up, if you'll be willing to be a black person or trade with a black person, and nobody stood up, nobody, which then or you have heard or seen what it's like to be a black person. Like, I wouldn't stand up for any other race now, mind you, but it's not because I perceive that they're treated a certain way. It's just because I like being me. Over time, I've gotten to that point where I really do enjoy being me and being in this type of culture. I've said this before. I think we're some of the most creative people as a culture. But anyway, that says a lot. When you said if you don't know, look around, but you can act as if you don't know, but most of the time people know. You ain't got nothing to add to this, D? Have we gotten better? Have we not?
I think for me, I was thinking about what you said as you being a father, but my perspective is looking at it from a mother, in terms of I only have one son, and he's 5 years old, 6 years old, and in my mind, I sometimes dread the day that he has to grow up. Darn, I don't guess I knew it was gonna get that emotional either, but it's hard to think about what the world will perceive him as in just a few years. Like now, when he goes out, they're like, "Oh, he's so cute, he's so adorable." But to know that there will come a day and a time when the adorability to them will turn off, you know, and he then becomes a threat. And so, thank you. I mean, I try. You try not to really live in a life of that, but I guess you, like you said, walking in a constant state of caution. But the reality is, we've gotten worse. And I really think, you know, we used to be before, you didn't always have the evidence to prove or to give, you know, confirmation to situations. And so it was one person's word against another. But now you have the physical evidence. I mean, when we talk about, and I don't even want to mention his name or give reverence to his name, but you were able to write a book and get funding in support of what you did, knowing that you took this young man's life. So it's just a lot in transition of, you know, there's so much more to be done, but no judgment zone. But in my opinion, we actually have gotten worse over the last few years.
Yeah. All right, we gotta move on.
Yeah, we do.
We gotta move on before we over there crying.
Yeah,
And you know,
man.
I guess you know I don't want necessarily sympathy, and I don't sit at home and cry about it all the time. But like we're facing it now,
Right.
we're discussing it now. But in general, you don't just sit up there and say, "Oh my God, what's gonna happen?" But you know, I do worry sometimes. I know we got to move on, but I remember my wife asking me. My son started working out and stuff and getting on the bike and riding through our neighborhood. And the neighborhood that we live in, there's not as many people that look like us. And, you know, me and her was just talking, just in general, and then she hit me with this, was like, you think we should let him continue to just ride around in the neighborhood? That shouldn't even be a thought. It's our neighborhood. We pay to be there. People supposed to know us. We've had the same car for the last couple of years. That same bike for at least 2 years. They should know his face. But for us to have that thought because of other things that have transpired, even beyond Trayvon Martin, you know, they say life is not fair. Darn sure is not fair that we have to think about that. All right, Ty, give us the QD of the hour. Can you give us the QD of the hour?
QD of the hour. Black boys raised in America, even in the wealthiest families and living in some of the most well-to-do neighborhoods, still earn less in adulthood than white boys with similar backgrounds. Though black girls and black women face deep inequality on many measures, black and white girls from families with comparable earnings attain similar individual incomes as adults. That was an article from the New York Times back in 2018.
And just to make it plain as day, I kind of went through and researched that particular article. I'm going to just give like a dollar amount. So if you grew up in a household that was, you know, $100,000 from both parents, and you was a black male, when you grew up, chances are you was gonna earn less than $100,000. You and your wife would earn less than $100,000 apiece. Whereas if you're a black female, chances are you was gonna at least come up to that same standard, if not increase it. Which, of course, is bad for me as a black male, but it's super dope to know that as a black female, like y'all are, y'all holding it down. Why why are y'all not the most sought after? I don't know, but y'all are definitely holding it down. As they say, for the culture. All right, D, give us the episode intro.
All right. Are things better or worse than yesteryear? In some states and countries, the perceived gains and losses by certain groups over the last few years often play a factor in their answers. Today, we'll take a deep dive into how we see it from our window in this part of the world.
So, for better or for worse, that's what we're gonna do. So we got a list of topics here. I was gonna have us pull out of the hat, but we ain't gonna do that. So, Ty, we're gonna start at your end. Out of the whole list that we got down there, you can go and just pick whatever. You say better or worse, elaborate, and then the other two people will follow up and say better or worse and elaborate. But you pick whichever one. And I got a couple over here in my pocket that y'all don't even know about that I'm gonna hit y'all with. So don't even worry about it.
I'm going to go with representation within careers yeah. So for better or worse representation, meaning like, does it matter? Or has it gotten better?
Has it gotten better
worse?
or worse? Yeah.
I will say for me personally.
Definitely matters.
Yeah. For me personally, it has gotten better because I'm very vocal. I've been very vocal in all of my previous jobs from the beginning, highlighting the importance of diversity and understanding I'm just as an asset as everybody else, but particularly me, because now we see that organizations are pushing the agenda for diversity and inclusion. So being able to speak about that and speak beyond me just being a number for this organization or company, I think it has gotten better for me. Could it be better? Yeah. But it has gotten better. But we definitely have some ways to go. But for me personally, it has gotten better. For the culture, I will say it's starting to get better. Again, just having conversations that needed to be had and have been had, really. So conversations we're revisiting about representation. It is being pushed to the forefront with just the importance of having a little diversity at the table, too, now. And the importance of it, because we're very creative beings, as you indicated earlier, and we have a lot to offer. But understanding, it's maybe getting off track, I can create my own table and continue to create other opportunities for individuals who look like me. So it goes back, does representation matter? If not, then start creating representation, and it may just start with self. Or just speak about it. You know, the importance of having other people look like you within a professional arena that you're in. And if it's not respected, then you have to make that personal choice.
I think from speaking up, though, like what you were saying with speaking up, I think we definitely, we're more vocal. We're more vocal overall. So you tend to see or have the awareness that people of color are in these different fields of study. And if we're talking about just our field of psychotherapy, I was looking at another one that says 90% of therapists are non-black. 90%, right? So that means only 4% of us are black, but yet we are 13% of the population. I don't know what's the percentage for Hispanics as far as in our particular field, but they're close to 20% in the population of the United States. So if they're at 5%, but they got 20% of the population, like how hard is it for them to find a therapist that look like them? Do you have to have a therapist that look like you? No, you don't. But sometimes when you do have somebody that look like you, been through the same thing you've been through, you don't have to explain certain things. It's just, it's known. It's there. So to answer it, I would say worse as opposed to better, but I like what you said because we really are more vocal in general. You know that it's other people out there that's a therapist. You know, other people that I seen the other day on social media, a pilot. a pilot. You know, my countriness coming in on, you can't always say it correctly, but a pilot brought a little 2-year-old black boy up into the pit with him. And he saw somebody that looked just like him that was flying this Boeing 747 or whatever it is that he was flying. And I think that's dope. But you see it on social media, even if you don't see it in person. So that's just my thoughts on it. I jumped in front of you, D.
Oh no, you good. No. Yeah. Definitely. So representation from a career perspective, better or worse, I think it's gotten better extremely better for African American females, in terms of representation and seeing compatibility in career and provisioning of excellence. In terms of representations for African American males, I think it's gotten better as well, but there is still, again, a lot of opportunity for both perspectives. My concern with representation is not just looking at the body count, but actually the representation of us showing up as our authentic selves. And that's what representation means to me. When I see people walking in who they truly genuinely are, that's what I love to embrace. And I know we as African American people are not a monologue. So all of us, are individual in that. But I do think when we show up as who we are, that's what I love to see, because to me that's representation. Because everyone don't want to be a therapist. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's not even looking in that field or in that perspective. But I like the fact that we are seeing people kind of maneuver in career paths that we haven't always seen. Like, I've never been into like technology and all of that, but I have seen where a lot of times now you're seeing a lot more diversity and inclusion with our culture in these fields, which have been predominantly the white culture. And I think that's where I like to see the representation from, and just really knowing that we can aspire to be anything. That's the real message that I think I take from this. So it's getting better, but definitely not at its best.
And you go ahead, because I wanted to give y'all another shout out too. To your point, Black women are the most educated group in America. The most educated group in America. I've heard that for like the last
Hair
3
flip.
years. Yeah.
Got some here today, y'all.
Yeah. So y'all definitely on point with that. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. Just as Dee was saying, it made me think when you spoke about just tech and within the tech industry, I think the exposure, exposing us, even being exposed to these different career fields at a young age, and having somebody who looks like you, who's embracing it, even if someone doesn't look like me, but embracing me and letting me know that, hey, I too can strive to be, in this field one day. But when the agenda is pushed for us to excel in athletics, which I mean is great because we do a great job at that as well. Again, we're creative beings. We excel at a lot of great things, just about everything. That's my personal opinion. But being able to be exposed to these different career fields, I think will help grow with representation. And you spoke of tech, and I was just listening to, shout out to Earn Your Leisure, but particularly Market Mondays with Ian Dunlap, and just speaking about the importance of us tapping into technology. For one, there's just so many vacant jobs. So there is a need, there's a demand for people of all ethnicities to enroll in tech, but particularly Black people. In Atlanta right now, they're ranked, I forget exactly which number, but in the nation, a higher number of Black people in tech, so I think it is important that we tap into STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They're now adding an A for art, so STEAM. But that exposure alone, because I always thought technology was so boring. I still somewhat do, but I understand the importance of it. So now I'm starting to get more interested in it.
That's
but sorry to go off. But yeah, you made a good point.
Yeah. All right, it's on you, D. Pick one.
Tolerance. society and family.
Okay. You think we're more tolerant as a society? We're more tolerable as a society.
In certain aspects, I think we're more tolerable of certain things, but I don't like the word tolerance. I don't even know how I chose that.
Why you don't like the word tolerance?
Because I don't never. I know it's not personal, but being tolerated, I don't want to be tolerated. Like that toleration to me it just carries a negative connotation. I would rather be embraced. So I'm gonna do that.
We're gonna say acceptance.
Okay, acceptance. Yeah, because you see my mind went through.
Are we more accepting?
Yeah, reel me back in.
All
So acceptance, society and family. I think we are getting in better with accepting people as a society. Again, as everything, still opportunity of growth, but I think we are embodying the uniqueness of people as we transpire through things. I'm gonna just leave it right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with you on that one because I feel like it's 2022 now, right? So in the 90s, going into the 2000s, we were more tolerant.
Yeah.
Then we become more accepting. Like, oh man, I don't know who I was having a conversation with. No, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about You can go to so many ways with this.
Yeah.
But I do think we are more accepting of people's sexuality. I think we're more accepting of how to make money. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to college and get this good degree and work at this certain place. You can think outside of the box and then go flip that. I think we're more just accepting in general when you're having to see these things in social media, in traditional media, on TV. And I say these things that you wouldn't normally see in your section of town or your little area of the world, but now you're seeing it because the information is being brought to you. It allows you to be more accepting in general and more, hopefully more loving in addition to that acceptance. But I like how you switched that too, because that's kind of like a negative connotation to say tolerable. Yeah. We don't just want to tolerate people. We want to accept them for who they are. So it's on you, Miss Hair Flip, because y'all the most educated group in America.
Which topic did you pick?
Well, I was piggybacking off of her tolerance. Are we more tolerant? But we changed it to more accepting.
I'm still struggling because I really don't understand it. Are we as a society more accepting, or have we gotten better at accepting
people, things
within society?
Just people.
Now, that's not to say that we're not resisting the change.
Right.
But I mean, if we just threw anything out there, just think about, like, if I think about my mom, I think about myself even. Certain things that would not have been tolerated or accepted in 91 or 99 or 2001 is more accepted now. You just think about it. If you had the Super Bowl that we just witnessed.
Right.
All of those people that was on the stage that would have not been on the stage in 91. We were so glad when Whitney Houston got up there to sing the national anthem. Not thinking about Snoop Dogg crip walking at Super Bowl.
I still haven't yet to see that.
You ain't seen it? That's blasphemy.
Personally, until they start blackballing Colin, until we start owning some stuff, then I may be a fan of the NFL again. I never really watched sports anyway. So
when you say owning stuff, though, that's on us, though. Like, that's not on.
But really creating our own league. Imagine if we took all our talent, then what would the National Football League consist of? Because what does it consist? I don't know the numbers, you know what I mean? But you can just see it. When we talk about representation, we're definitely represented on 70%.
70%. We're 70% of black. 70% of NFL is black, I think.
Okay, so we need our own league.
Yeah. But that's on the players, though. Like,
I wouldn't take away from that, but I think there have been a lot of things in place that prevent it. But again, because we are a growing society, evolving, but that's that. But I don't know. It's a question mark for me because my mind is racing. One thing I want to say is until we stop seeing black and brown bodies, are we accepted? You know, and that's been talked since 91. Until we stop seeing black and brown bodies being murdered and killed by law enforcement and them being held accountable by those in law, I don't know. But other things, yeah, okay, yeah. But I don't, I can't. I'm gonna say no. We haven't until we see some justice, real justice. I guess that goes into the social justice movement. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I don't know with acceptance.
Speaking of black and brown bodies, I didn't know you was going there. I did not know you was going there. I was thinking when you said black and brown bodies, if you think about the cover of magazines, they do have black and brown bodies on there. They have different weight class or whatever you want, different shapes of people on there. So I think we are more accepting and tolerant just because, I don't know, maybe we've been, what they say, the squeaky wheel is the one that gets fixed or something to that extent. Maybe because we just been yelling so much. Maybe if we continue to yell, maybe they'll start holding some of the powers that be responsible for some of these black and brown bodies that are dying.
Stop yelling and start shaking the table.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, Miss Violent Therapist.
I wouldn't even said I'm just being real, you know. Because how often have we been yelling and having peaceful conversations and intellectual conversations and showing proof, tangible proof, evidence, and we still kind of getting the same response. But, you know, we have made some improvement, not to take away from that. It has been, you know, our culture continues to be accepted. I'll leave it there.
Well, we ain't gotta leave it there because I'm gonna take from that and I'm gonna go right into social justice.
Okay.
All right.
But it start with you though.
Yeah, it is. Have we improved social justice movement? Has it improved or has it worsened? And I'm gonna say improve. The reason I'm gonna say improve because what did you hear growing up? I'm a few years older than y'all, so this was beating my head. Civil rights, civil rights, civil rights. All we wanted them to do was just be civil. Just be civil. And they eventually started being civil. They stopped just beating you down because you decided that you wanted to vote. It's like, all right, we might make it difficult for you, but we ain't going to beat you down. Tulsa, Oklahoma, that they talk about destroying that city. I'm not going to say that I am going to say this. I don't think you can get them to actually destroy a city per se, but they might make things more difficult for you. So we got it to the point where it was civil back in the day. It's improved because now this generation now is like, bump civil, I want equal. And that's what they're going for. That's what they're shooting for. I want to be on the same playing field. And if they get what they want, that's going to make the world a better place. Still going to be poor people. It's still going to be somebody who's going to be at the bottom of the totem pole. But if they get equal rights for women, they get equal rights for black and brown people, that is going to make so many communities a better place. So I'm going to say it's better. Social justice movement is better. We don't have civil rights leaders. We have activists now. They the same people, though.
I with you, Kermit. I think overall it has gotten better because as we see different generations, people continue to be more vocal, or we continue to be more vocal, and we continue to educate ourselves to support what we're saying. But we're moving differently too. You know, we're starting to take a real active stance. We'll continue to take an active stance and not be silenced. And you speak of, you know, us wanting equality, but also equity and then reparations. And again, until we can have and not even having conversations anymore about reparations, because conversations have been had.
40 acres and a mule. You want that, huh? That's what you want?
And a lot more.
Okay. All right.
Again, equity, you know, and of course inequality. But I think overall, yeah, we've gotten better. Yeah.
Y'all got my mind in so many directions. Have we gotten better?
Can I say something about the 40 acres and the mule?
Yeah,
Or
go
are you
ahead.
done?
You help me out here. Bring me.
40 acres and a mule, reparations. Are we deserving of that? Yes. Have other people gotten reparations? And I have to Google this fact, but pretty sure there are other groups of people that have gotten reparations given to them by the government. Certain provisions have been made for them. However, instead of crying, whining, asking for it, that goes back to we have to own that and say, all right, I'm just going to do this. You ain't going to give me the reparations. I'll go through the red tape. I'll knock down whatever door that you put up, or I'll go through that door. And I get it myself. Not only am I going to get it, but I'm going to share it with other people like me, whoever that may be. They don't have to necessarily be black, but they might be minority. They might be brown. Or they just might be local. Yes, I want reparations. Yes, I want 40 acres and a mule. But don't look like I'm going to get it. So I'm not going to wait on it.
I don't think we did take that approach because, again, look what happened with Black Wall Street. We went and made our own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then look what happened. So every time we continue.
But
Well,
it's
go
been
ahead.
50 years. What, 50 years, 40 years since they took that Black Wall Street and we hadn't duplicated it? That should have been. Then they gave us the blueprint. I say they, whoever that was, gave us the blueprint. Somewhere along the lines, I was watching Killer Mike's documentary, and
On Netflix.
yeah,
The Buying Black.
yeah, and how
difficult it was.
How difficult it was. So why have we not taken what they did? And at Black Wall Street, they had a community, they had their own bank, they had their own grocery store, but we can't find not one community where there's a grocery store that we own, or we can get product from. There's not a gas station that we own.
There are few,
Yeah, there
you
are
know.
few. There was-
Okay, far and few between, right?
Right.
But why can't we get a city like Black Wall Street? And it's been done before. Like,
But let's talk about it because I think there's a lot of contributing factors to that. Definitely accountability, but of course we got to talk about systemic racism. You know, again, going back to reparations, we got to have something to build something, and you know that not to take away from our innate qualities and natural abilities to use our trade sets, just the power of our mind and being able to create things just through the power of thought. But it can be done. You're right. It can be done. Again, accountability, but again, a lot of things have been in the way as well. Not to say those things haven't been movable, you know, if that's even a word. Movable. Yeah, but y'all get what I'm saying.
movable is a word. We know what you're saying.
Yeah, but you know, speaking
We
to the
arguing right
audience
now.
too.
You don't worry about grammar when you're arguing.
We're just talking.
All right, D, it's on you.
Yeah.
Man, my mind is.
Professor's not gonna give us nothing.
I mean, I'm thinking about. I'm taking it out here and I'm looking at it from a perspective when we're talking about social justice movement, and I break down. I guess when you break down each individual word, when I look at social, okay, that aspect. When I look at justice, there is none. So when movement, we got some, but I'm thinking about the little ladder. I mean, if I roll a 1, I move, but I ain't really go nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Go from the bottom one to
Yeah,
the next to
you
the
know what I'm
bottom.
saying. And I do. I'm listening to us. I think we are some of Black people are some of the most creative minds, and I think where you say we haven't reinvented it, I think we have, just not in the same mindset that they had before. Because in the previous era, we didn't have anything but each other. Like, and if we weren't helping each other, we weren't really getting help. You know what I'm saying? And so in today's present society, we have individuals who will accept help no matter who it comes from. And so, I think about the notion of, what would it look like for us in terms to have a Black Wall Street now? What would that really look like? And then I go back to what Ty said earlier. Individuals accept our cultures, but they do not accept us. So then, even to try to go into a place and create that zone now, what would it look like?
It'll be beautiful.
It'll be beautiful.
It'll be dope.
I was finna curse for a minute.
It'll be beautiful.
The
But I still feel like it would be something I would want to see it. Like, I just want to see it. That's just it.
Do you feel like, as you're talking about it, are you saying, okay, it'll be beautiful, but I don't think it can be done?
No, I think it can be done.
Because it has been done.
It has been done. But I think the mindset of us would have to be different.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like our weakness as a society right now is our mindset. Because I think before we as a Black culture had an inclusive mindset for Black people. But now when we talk about inclusivity, it is not just limited to us. You see what I don't know. I may be kind of
We bring in other groups
right
to kind of help us out. Yeah.
And nothing's wrong with that. But if I got
We bring in allies.
yeah, we bring in our
Yeah.
allies,
Yeah.
right? And in that sense of allyship, though, we're still not taking away from our Black creativity and our uniqueness. Where I feel like certain aspects of certain things, our culture is present, but you still see other parts of other culture. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but
what I hear you saying.
Yeah.
I'm using my therapeutic skills here. What I hear you saying, by the paraphrase, what I hear you saying is we align ourselves with allies, or we link up with allies, and then sometimes those allies, not knowingly, sometimes knowingly, but not always, infiltrate what our very core is.
Right.
So then it gets diluted.
That's it. That's
Diluted.
it. That's what I was looking at. Like, we dilute ourselves to become acceptable. And I think before, it wasn't about us being acceptable by anybody else other than ourselves. Like, I think about, just the beauty of the Black neighborhood. Just even going back to the Black neighborhood, like,
Yeah, I missed that.
I missed that. Like, can remember getting off the bus and really not even thinking about it. Every person on my street looked like me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was nothing. I really never lived in fear. Like, I lived in, what they would perceive as the hood, but I didn't see it as the hood because everybody was family. And so I never once, I ain't really worried about nothing. Like, I didn't have that fear. Like you said, like riding the bicycle, that was nothing to me. This street, that street. And I just think about kind of where we are now in terms of social justice. I don't live in that same way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't look like that for me. And so if we go back to creating that would be beautiful. I would love to see that, the Black Wall Street. But I want to see it duplicated everywhere to where it's not even, it's the norm, I guess I want to say. That's what I want to say. I just want it to be the norm. Like, I just really thought about my child. Like, that was just the dopest thing. Yeah. And the reality is, I didn't even realize how dope it was.
Yeah, you don't realize it until now when you kind of don't have
it. Right.
Yeah.
I think that go back to what Dr. Rita Walker, author of Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health, when she talks about, when she discusses in her book, just us having a loss of, I think, cultural connectivity. When there's a sense of, I guess when there is a disconnect, within the culture that you may identify with, then this can be the outcome. Right. I mean, if I don't feel connected to the very essence of my being, I don't know which way I'm going with it, but
I think she also said something about people who have less pride or don't have that connection. They have a tendency to go into those depressive symptoms and you have suicidal thoughts because that connection is not there and because you're not as prideful about
There.
who you are. Yeah.
And so the loss of, or I guess the disconnect just with whether you are identify as African, African American, individuals of the African diaspora, we'll keep it that way. You know, depending on how we're looking at our culture too. There was this guy I was listening to, and he was stating, "Are we viewing our culture through our cultural eyes, or are we viewing our culture through a European's eyes?"
Wow.
And giving, you know, just psychological enslavement, of course, physical enslavement, but just even the psychological enslavement. So then when you speak about just the minds, I think we're still, as a culture, still psychologically enslaved and haven't tapped into the true essence of who we are and being able to be prideful about who we are to where we don't have to dilute who we are. And I mean, we're again, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna start.
See, this is why I love y'all, right? So now I feel like I got to go get me one of these books and read into them. Because when you said what you say, African
diaspora,
see,
and Dr.
I can't even say the word. Can't even say the word. Much less try to break it all the way down. Matter of fact, if you're looking at us on YouTube, y'all see these books. These are some pretty good books to start off with, but it'll give you a sense of pride. Just and some of it is fiction, some of it is all like I guess you could say. Just real reality stuff, real stuff, nonfiction. That's what I was trying to think of. You got fiction and nonfiction, but it would give you. I know wordplay is crazy, ain't it? It'll give you a sense of pride. Just I don't know, man. You hit me with the whole. I'm from Magnolia. So you hit me with the whole neighborhood thing and just remembering going on 1st Street, 3rd Street, going to play. Somebody get a Nintendo, everybody there, because everybody ain't got a Nintendo.
Yeah, and see, that's my thing. Like, I feel like from a financial aspect, we are advancing, but in terms of the connection of our culture and community, we've kind of gotten worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? When it comes, like, cookouts ain't cookouts no more. Everybody get their plate to go.
Yeah.
Like, before...
I don't mess with this person.
You ain't never... I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I can't be there that long.
Man, I'm just going to drop in because I got somewhere else to go. But it wasn't like that. Like, I just remember the cookout starting at 2 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we still there. And I mean... And it ain't like nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that you really
that
see
love.
how much that changed. And I guess that kind of leads into the next. One of the other topics is relationships. Like,
we're not going to get there. We're not going to
get there. But I'm just saying, it kind of covers it. You know what I'm saying? Taps on there. But just the way things are shifting with us. And so, you know, as we continue to evolve and as we continue to grow, I just really want to get back to the love and genuineness of us as Black people. Like, where I don't see you and look at you in a judgment because we in 2 different classes or we are in 2 different financial brackets, but like, you still my people regardless. Like, that's the kind of love I want to see, where we're not just judging people because they have on a bonnet, or we're not automatically saying this person bougie because they're carrying a $500 bag. Like, that's our people regardless, just where they are. And like, we still see that and respect each other no matter where it is.
Yeah, after that George Floyd incident, I probably should have been doing it, but I started just speaking.
Man,
like, I remember growing up, my dad, I used to ask him. He would be driving the car, and every car that came by, and you'd see him in the store, and what's up? How you doing? Well, he wouldn't say what's up. He was, hey, how you doing? But now, since that George Floyd incident, I make a special effort to speak, especially to an African American male. Like, whether he's mean mugging me or not mean mugging me, I'm gonna make a special effort to say what's up. And I think I'm in that age range where they know I'm not like intimidating, like he ain't trying to do that. But and they'll speak, and it's a dope feeling to me to be able to do that. And sometimes I say hey to women too, but I have to be careful. I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to holler at them and call Melinda, and then she go crazy, because she is a little bit. But anyway, we had some more stuff. I think that's our time. So we're going to just kind of wind it down. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. But I wanted to do, what I do all the time, call to action. Subscribe to Speaking with Gravity on Facebook and Instagram. We got a person doing our social media now, so we're a little bit more active than we have been in the past. So definitely subscribe to us and see what we're talking about. We'll make it easy for you and put it in the show notes. For all your event needs, make sure you check out 6-1 Event Rentals. Yes, they got a 360 booth with red carpet.
And an inflatable enclosure.
And an inflatable enclosure. But we'll put that link in the show notes too.
Thanks.
And if you need your resume updated, you need to be prepped for an interview, we got you. Well, actually, D got you. Her contact info. Her contact info would be in the show notes as well. And then also we have Gravity Counseling Group that provides a BIPOC, basically people of color wellness group every fourth Monday of the month. And for this month, February is the 28th. So we come out on the 24th, so it'll be in 4 days. So y'all millions, y'all need somewhere to come and get some stuff off your chest. Come check us out live and in person or virtually via Zoom. Just look on, we'll put that in the show notes too. But this month right here, we got yours truly coming in to help us introduce us to yoga. Miss Taisha, you got some acronyms that go with that the yoga stuff? Is it like, how I got LPC? Y'all got in the...
Well, RYT, so Registered Yoga Teacher, 200 level, that's me. And then you have others at different levels.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So RYT, I thought it was something, but I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. So she'll be there this month of February to kind of introduce us into yoga and meditation and just finding different ways to enhance our life and to work towards mental wellness overall. And finally, thank y'all for taking the time to listen. Y'all can be anywhere in the world. You could be doing anything in the world, but you chose to come and look at us, watch us on YouTube, or listen to us on your favorite platform, and we appreciate that. And remember, we are therapists, but this isn't therapy. It's a podcast.
And we out. In a minute.
Shout me out, though, but